Welcome back to the Stop Snitching podcast. I am Nathan. B-Rock in the building, as always. I like that B-Rock is at least very consistent nowadays. Yeah. And the thumbnail game has definitely gone up. You've been editing it differently now where you got the names over it a little bit longer?
Yeah, man.
Because the thumbnails are way better with that. Eventually, we'll get up to that next level of thumbnail, but at least now, we can get to that point.
Figure out how to do it.
Man.
All right, so I got to start it off like this, man. So I was accused harshly of not finishing my Coke last time by Adrianna. So now we're going to do a Coke Watch. So as each time I sit, I'm going to put like a little bar.
A little bar?
And it's just going to be like a progress bar.
And at the end, you can just
And then we're going to celebrate at the end when I finish.
Yeah, so from
I
what
don't
people
get in trouble.
Yeah, what people don't understand is that there are a few things in life that Adrianna truly loves to end her day with. One of them could not be me. But what she does love is the Coke Zero.
Hey, which I just found out. So now I'm like,
which, hey, Coke Zero sponsor the pod. I mean, we will crush Coke Zero on this podcast if we could get
I didn't know you like Coke so much, though. Adrianna's like off camera.
Adrianna's off camera. She's if you saw my story, that
like I literally went there and I went down to open the fridge and she was like, Brandon, I gotta tell you, if you're gonna grab a Coke, finish it. I'm like, huh? And she's like, last time you left a soda undrink or something like that. I'm like, oh, snap. No,
that bitch was full.
Yeah,
it was full.
Yeah, it was full. It was literally like, no, she was only certain it was you because she saw you. But at the same time, so what you got to understand is here at the apartment, there's like a whole bar that Adrianna made, and then there's a mini fridge like within the bar, and the whole bottom of the mini fridge is dedicated to only Coke Zero, which is only Adrianna's. Even I live here, and then if I want to get one, she'll be like, "Oh, you gonna drink the whole thing though?" I'm like, you act like we couldn't go with $3 and go buy more Coke Zero. And she's like, well, I don't want to lift it up the stairs, and I'm not going to walk it up the thing.
It's really the principle of it all, you know?
So it's just a blanket rule for everybody. But now Brandon did feel some type of way. There's a little bit more. There's a little bit more stress around it at this point.
This is a pressure-packed situation.
Well, hey, man,
that needs to be handled.
Let's get into it. 1, 2, 3. Stop snitching. Chink.
All right, man. We got the Oscars tonight, man. You know,
we do have the Oscars
this is
tonight.
What we live for.
I'm excited. I've seen basically everything. I said I only haven't seen Minari, which I'm hoping I can finesse Adrianna into watching with me tonight because my parents said it was amazing.
Pressure.
Probably not going to happen. And The Father, which was the
that's about
Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, that's about the Pope, right?
Oh no, that's another Anthony Hopkins movie, which was great this year. Two Popes.
Oh yeah.
No, The Father is like he's an old guy has dementia, and I think his daughter is looking after him, and it's one of those stories which is like super depressing.
Anything with Anthony Hopkins is like legendary.
Yeah, but I don't think that. Well, you know the everything up for best picture.
So like Judah and Black Messiah, Sound of Metal, The Father.
Oh.
Minari.
Oh.
What else? You sent it to me.
I did send it to you. This is... Hold on. Oh, of course Rotten Tomatoes has everything up, all their picks. Oh, Rotten Tomatoes has a podcast? Of course they do.
Oh, yeah, they should. Nomadland, Promising Young Woman. Oh, Trial to Chicago 7. Bang.
Is that your favorite?
That's gotta win. That's gotta win. I saw that movie 4 times.
Are you serious?
Yeah, bro. It's that good. Because you know me, I'll watch, then I'll do the research, then I gotta watch it again because I'm like, oh, that's what they meant. Like, then I gotta watch
The Trial of the Chicago 7 was great, but I think without obviously seeing these other 2 movies, which I guess they're both amazing, I've only heard that Minari is like one of the best, but The Sound of Metal to me, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that movie was so incredible. Like, I think it's just Riz Ahmed, that's like the lead actor.
Yeah.
Dude, his performance in that movie was unreal.
Well, they're saying he's going to win Best Actor.
He must. Yeah. There's no way. If he doesn't win Best Actor, I don't know how. That's the thing. Okay, Trial of the Chicago 7 is like, it feels like it's like a documentary. Like, that's how, like,
that's probably why
engaging it is. It's amazing. But, I don't know, man. The Sound of Metal was incredible. I know everybody loves Nomadland. I thought Nomadland was great, but I don't think it's, like, the best thing that I saw this year. It's just like a very... Nomadland is about a woman who her husband dies and she's becomes a nomad. Like, she has to fend for herself, live in an RV, move out to the middle of nowhere. She starts working for Amazon. It's an Amazon Prime picture, so of course she works for fucking Amazon out in the middle. Yeah. And then it's just kind of her navigating her life in a very untraditional way as like the second half of her story. But it's a very true, like, American piece about like 2008, 2009, losing your job, the struggles of no home, no family, someone who's really in it. Yeah. And it's a story where there is no good guy or bad guy. There really is no conflict other than her situation. And then you just see her get from point A to point B. And it's not perfect and it's not beautiful, but it's like a very like poignant story that I think a lot of people can like relate to. So it's not like
visually spectacular. It's more like a heart, like just hits the heart.
Exactly. Yeah. You watch it and it's like it's almost like you're watching a vlog. It's like the best vlog you've ever seen.
A lot of times those are the movies that win though. Like the movies that you wouldn't like weren't like visually stunning, like but they have the most heart in it. Like the Academy usually like rewards those kind of movies. Yeah. More or less in The Sound of Metal, which was like really should probably win that, or Trial should probably win just because it had all the elements.
Well,
like,
I think from the political atmosphere, it's like, sure, Trial of the Chicago 7 is like a very hard-hitting movie, like in that regard. But overall, this is what I don't know what the Academy looks for. Like, what makes it the best picture?
Yeah, they're
all different.
They've never like released their criteria in terms of like how each thing gets nominated. It's really, I mean, definitely it's a lot of politics. So it's like it's who's in the movie and. I'm sure Amazon has something to do with it. They have 2 movies nominated, like,
which is amazing. Yeah, I love that now. That was like such a unique, novel thing in the beginning where you're like, oh, like a Netflix original movie or like an Amazon, and now it's like, I think that's a majority of what I watch.
Yeah, well, Trial was a Netflix movie, right? Or
was it a Netflix movie?
I think so.
I think it was.
Yeah,
it had to.
But it's just like the sign of the times, though. It's like we only saw Tenet in theaters. Like, that was probably the last movie.
What a letdown, bro.
Yeah, we saw in theaters,
Yeah, that was probably the only thing that we saw last year. That had the most
build-up, though. That was, like, the movie, like, you know. Like, we went to the theater because it was like, all right, it's a Christopher Nolan movie. Like, you
have to see it on the big screen.
But then it was just, like, you could barely hear. Like, the music was so loud that, like, you remember that?
Oh, yeah, the audio mixing was horrible. You didn't understand what was happening.
But I heard that's what he's known for, though. Like, he's, like, that's his thing. Like,
bad sound?
Well, just blaring music.
Oh, it's like he doesn't want people to know what he's talking about.
Yeah, I guess that I read up on something that said that's kind of like his thing. Like, it's just one of his artistic freedoms that he takes.
that shit is for the birds for me. But overall, I mean, they're saying, like, did you like Ma Rainey's Black Bottom? Did you see that?
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
See, Adrianna and I both watched it. I could leave it. I was like, bro, I'm not feeling this at all.
You didn't like Viola Davis in it, though?
Okay, here's the thing. It's not to say that I'm looking through the Rotten Tomatoes thing. I just want to see if we're going to forget this. It's not that I thought it was a bad movie. It was like, I just felt like looking at it, I was like, I'm watching a play. Like, this is amazing, but it would be even better if you saw it live. Yeah. It doesn't have to be Chad Boswick and Viola Davis. Like, it could have been 2 amazing actors in general. Yeah. But watching it just be a movie the whole time, I was like, there wasn't I think you would get so much more emotional connection to these people if it really was right in front of you, like palpable on the stage. That's like a different kind of experience from an entertainment perspective. For me, it didn't cross that threshold. It didn't hit me the same way as a film.
Yeah. Well, people said that about Fences. You remember that
one? And like my parents loved both of those movies and think I'm crazy. But I'm like, I don't know. I just like connect with it differently.
I mean, I'm sure in a theater setting that like Fences would be amazing, especially with Denzel in it.
Well, they're all produced by Denzel. I'm 99% sure. It's all the same author, and then he has like created this thing where he's like, I will produce all of this guy's work.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Dang, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's all. Cool. I'm 99% sure that Fences and Ma Rainey's Black Bottom were both produced by Denzel Washington.
Oh wow, that's what's up.
I mean, best animated movie is definitely Soul. You saw Soul? Soul was a good movie, bro.
Soul.
Those movies always get me so nervous because I'm like, don't drop it. Like, there's so much pressure on this movie.
On Disney to drop the ball.
Yeah, and I was like, God.
Well, Onward is a Disney movie too.
Oh, Onward was a banger too.
Yeah, Disney. I mean, it's
Yeah.
It's just
Ma Rainey's
like
Black Bottom was produced by Denzel Washington. Well, 3 people, but he's one of the main ones.
Yeah.
And it was a Netflix movie.
I think the actor in a supporting role is probably what I'm looking forward to the most because there's so many good actors in that. Like
best actor in a supporting role?
Yeah. Sacha Baron Cohen in Trial. Daniel Kaluuya, like, come on, he was a supporting actor. Like, they both were, like, I guess, supporting actors because him and Lakeith are nominated. And did you see One Night in Miami?
No.
Oh yeah, you should watch it.
I think we started to watch like 30 minutes of it or something, and then I fell asleep. She's off camera going,
oh, yeah.
which like is very unlike me. I didn't fall asleep, but I wasn't in the right mind space. Yeah. We're both those people. I'm like, I got to be in a mode.
Short movie, yeah. But Leslie
was that
Odom
good,
Jr. Yeah, Leslie Odom Jr. plays. What's his name? He's a famous black musician.
Yeah, he's a jazz guy.
Dang, I'm drawing a blank.
Here, let me get the. Where's the movie at? Hold on.
It wasn't Sammy Davis, obviously.
Yeah. I think it was Sammy Davis Jr.
Nah, I don't know. I think it was somebody else.
No, hold on. It has to have been. Hold on. One Night in Miami. It's gotta be Amazon Video. Come on. Sam Cooke.
Yeah, Sam Cooke.
Okay.
Change is gonna come.
Yeah, because it's Malcolm X, Jim Brown, Sam Cooke.
Yeah.
Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali. Yeah.
I think that's the most loaded. That's the one. That's like the biggest toss up right there. Like, who do you pick? Because like,
is that up for best picture though?
No, this is actor in a supporting role. Okay. Yeah, because Sacha Baron Cohen was amazing in Trial.
Oh no, you're looking at the thing that I was saying. I was like, where is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it too. Yeah. Okay. I was like, you were pulling up all this information. I'm like, damn, do you just remember everyone on this? Wait, hold on.
Actor in a supporting role. It's like
actor in a leading role. I don't know how Riz Ahmed would lose. Yeah. But he look. If he loses to Chadwick Boseman, fine. Like, I get that. After you die, there's this like extra thing about you. His performance was incredible. I'm not taking that away from him. But if I am taking away that he died and just looking at their two, personally, I would still give it to Riz.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those things where it's like, it's kind of like the Nas with the Grammys thing. It was like, you know, it could have gone to anybody, but it's just like Nas is just Nas. Like, eventually you just gotta
go there.
Yeah.
But then so how do you explain the whole like Leo thing to me? Right? Like, I would have felt
he went so many years without winning.
Yeah, like if you're Leonardo DiCaprio, you're like the heartthrob, you're the baby of the Academy. Everybody loves you, everybody sees your movies, but like he never got that like nod, like, you know what, like, it's your time.
It really comes down to who's voting. That's really what it comes down to. Like, who are the actual voters?
Does anybody know?
No, and that's the
they're
thing.
just mysterious people.
Yeah, like, we know in sports the media votes, so it's like a guy like T.O. should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer, but he wasn't because
the media hates him.
Yeah, you know, like, so there's certain politics, so I'm sure it's like that here, where you probably have like super film buffs and traditionalists who probably look at Leo like the pretty golden boy, and
the only thing I can think of is,
like, you know,
Leo. Oh, it seemed like every time Leo was up for Best Actor, there really was. It was just like a loaded five, and it was like.
But he had to win for The Revenant.
Oh, The Revenant? Oh, yeah. I feel like he took that role, and he was like, listen.
But that was
I'm going to do this, and there is no way that I am losing. There's not going to be another performance more intense
Once the Academy saw that, they're like, nah, this guy is good. Because it's different when you're a leading actor in all these blockbuster films. You know, the Academy doesn't reward that. Like, they don't like blockbuster films. Yeah. But it's Leo, so it's automatically going to be that, even though he could have won for Wolf of Wall Street. He could have won for things like Titanic, Catch Me If You Can, like The Departed. Like, he's amazing in everything, but it took him to do
you're right.
that.
He's got all hits.
Yes.
Didn't we watch The Wolf of Wall Street? She had never seen that. We watched that like a couple months ago. God. We went off on a tangent on like all Aaron Sorkin movies, which she loves all of them. Yeah. But it was that. Oh no, Moneyball. You remember that movie? Moneyball with Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill? Yeah. That was also written by Aaron Sorkin, I believe. Yo, she loved that movie. Yeah. Jonah Hill is a GOAT, too.
Oh, yeah.
I know he has, like, cult clout status, like, for people who love him. Jonah Hill is fire,
he's really
bro.
A good actor.
He may be the best piece of The Wolf of Wall Street, in my opinion. Like, Leo's great, but Jonah Hill in that movie is
Yeah.
He's so insane,
he matches
bro.
his energy. Yeah.
He's so crazy.
What's dope is like, you know, Leo killed it when you actually followed the real Wolf of Wall Street on Instagram, and you're like, dang, like Leo was better than him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I followed the guy, and I'm like, dang, like he looked like Leo, like killed that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But it's like, yeah, the Reverend was like,
wasn't it also like, it was like 3 hours, right?
Yeah,
it was like,
but you couldn't
OD
deny
long.
it. It was like a thrilling 3 hours. Like, you're just trying to figure out how he was going to get out of whatever situation he was. And
like, did you see that movie in IMAX?
No, I saw it with you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I know we saw it together, but I don't know if you ever went back and saw it again. I didn't get to. That's one of the movies where after we saw that, I know we were both like, oh yeah, this is like, I would have paid $30 to see this in IMAX.
And then that moment when he actually won was so good, because it was like everybody was. He was emotional, man. But everybody was happy for him. It was like, finally,
let's go. I think that year too, they switch. They always switch it. So, Best Picture is always last, but then it's Best Actress and Best Actor. And it's always the previous Best Actor does the Best Actress, and the previous Best Actress does the Best Actor.
Yeah.
And I think he was like that second to last. Because I don't think... Did The Revenant win Best Picture that year?
I don't think so.
I don't think it won Best Picture. But...
Dang, I want to watch that movie again.
That movie was incredible. Good. Also, that movie had... There's no way there was more than 20 pages of dialogue in that whole 3-hour movie.
It was strictly just like...
Oh, and Tom Hardy.
Ooh.
People forget Tom Hardy is the bad guy in that movie.
Tom
Hardy and Leo, bro.
Tom Hardy's a goat, man.
The only movie that we've ever seen more visually stunning than that in the recent past that I can think of off the top of my head was Dunkirk.
Yeah.
Dunkirk was insane. Bro. I don't know how they shot that movie. Oh, yes, I know what you're about to say.
Yeah, the other war movie.
Oh, God.
What was it called?
It was... 1970.
Yeah, 1970.
Sam Mendes. That one, Best Picture, Best Director.
That needed everything.
That movie was great. I remember both of us, we were in the... Damn, it's so fucked up to talk about this. Like, we used to go to the movies. It's been like 2 years since we go to the movie.
You could still go to
the You still could, but I just haven't. Because everything's on the TV.
Yeah. See, that's the part gonna... But I think the theaters are gonna make a huge comeback, though. Like, once everything is like... I don't know if it'll ever be the same, but once it's like most people get their vaccines and stuff and movies really get released in theaters again, I think it's going to be popping.
You know what? I have a good question for you, because my mom brought this up when we were over there yesterday. Do you think that because of the way that like streaming is changing and you can have, and all these major movies are going straight to your TV, do you think it's going to start to actually change and like the film community is going to get larger because people are going to start watching more movies they would have never went to the theater to see, just because it's so accessible there?
I mean, I think
they're not just going to see blockbusters.
Yeah, I think the numbers would support it, just because it's, like you said, easier. Like, I mean, for example, I'm going to watch Mortal Kombat, and it's probably not a movie I would have watched.
Right, you wouldn't pay for it.
Yeah, I would. Yeah,
and you know it has bad reviews,
but now I'm gonna.
But you're still gonna watch it. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Just because it's there, HBO Max been killing. So yeah, I think that's valid. But I think like the appreciation for going to a theater is gonna be like second to none. Like, I think the theaters have a good opportunity, like maybe if not end of this year, like next year, to like ramp up their experience, because it's like people are gonna want to feel that, because it's dope going to a theater and watching a movie. There's nothing like it.
I know I'm preaching to the choir here. Going to the movies is like the best.
Yeah.
Next to, for me, like going to the theater, like seeing a live show, live music, and I don't mean theater like, you know, annoying like me would go to like see a Broadway show. I mean like going to a concert, like a sporting event.
There's just some things you can't replace. Like, you can't replace that feeling. You can have the best setup at your crib, you know, and we would like go to her dad's house and watch the fight, but it's like it's nothing like being there.
Dude, that's one of my new life goals. I want to go to a UFC fight, like in Vegas.
They had 15,000 last night in that joint.
Was it really?
Yeah, 15,000.
Dude, the celebrities at that fight, which, by the way, did you watch those knockouts and stuff?
Yeah.
You see that leg break?
Yeah.
I don't even know who these guys are.
Chris Weidman's a legend. Oh. He's the one that broke his leg.
Bro, he snapped his leg in half.
Yeah. Oh. That's like the rigors. That's like the dangers of it. But, I mean, yo, if you think about it, like, because we watched the Jake Paul Triller fight, and
which, by the way, was the largest waste of my life.
Yeah, but you could tell
so
like Triller is like hype beast, like whatever, and UFC is like a real experience. Like the way they do everything, like the way they present it, like
the Jake Paul stuff is they're just selling you popcorn and bubble gum.
But it's like, so like
it's the TMZ
corny though, like just the way they do everything, like. And we love Pete Davidson, but that whole thing was just like, like what was the point?
Yo, Brandon was cracking up. He was like, "What is the point of him doing this?"
Like, all this? It's almost like making a mockery of the sport
of true boxing and
like,
fighting.
Just, you know, But it kind of like, you know, but I wanted to praise the UFC because we're talking about the Oscars and production, but they always like, it's always on point. Like the way they set it up, the like way you get to follow the people into the ring and you kind of feel the energy, like, you know what I'm saying? Obviously Joe Rogan announcing, you can't beat that. Like, you know
the what experience is next level. Oh, well, I know that I didn't watch any of the fights last night because we both went to bed at like 10 o'clock on a Saturday, but the July 10th, mark that down because we'll be going down. That's the McGregor and Poirier 3 fight. That thing is about to be crazy.
I don't know, man.
But yeah, no, the UFC did take it to another level only because their ability to get you engaged with all those fighters. Like you and I mean, we're probably the same level of like fan of the UFC. I would never really watch it alone. I'd watch it if like I'm with someone or in like a party atmosphere. But whenever I'm there, it's not like I'm watching a sport like, I don't know, soccer, that I respect tremendously, but I'm not a fan. So if I was there, I still probably would not pay attention to it because I don't know what's going on. The UFC is still so engaging because it's just like this most unbelievable circumstance that you're watching happen in front of you.
Yeah, they're definitely at the top right now in terms of just like production and feel. And
like, I wish the NBA would get that back. I know LeBron's been out, and that sucks because he's
like,
the biggest.
The NBA, like things like that, the NBA is tough because there's so many games that it's hard to just like make a blockbuster out of every game. Like the UFC, you can do it because like these are just fights,
right?
Like, and you're not going to see these guys for a little bit. Yeah, I wanted to give them their props though because they like the way they build up their stories and stuff. Like it's always A1 for sure.
Always another one, bro. Fuck. I always forget to. I think I set the timer and then I don't set the timer.
So you'll know.
I don't know where we're at. Oh wait, no. Babe, tell me what's the number on the camera?
She's like, I didn't want to do anything.
I just got to know how close we are to 28.
You're at 23.
Oh, 23. All right, bet. We good.
Shit.
No wait, what was I gonna say? Oh, yo, give the people a quick look in because last time I went on my timeline, BCTV, BCTV Media.
What's up?
We got. Are we? I mean, you just posted it.
Oh, yeah. So shout out Ed Deuces, friend of the show. Just kind of.
I was gonna say.
So he started working with Corey Clement from the Eagles.
Yes,
well, he was on the Eagles. He's a free agent now, but yeah, literally, like he started working with him a couple of weeks ago. And he was like, yo, you know, I need you. I'm like, yo, I got you. So we did, we filmed that on like Friday or something. And like I met him. He's cool as hell. He pulled up in like a slingshot.
Are you serious?
He has some like fancy car sponsorship or something where they just give him like different things. And
he looked like a monster.
Yo, he's our height though. Like he's not like big, but he's like, you know, he's an NFL player. Like he's different.
No, he looks like a brick wall.
Yeah,
like he's 5'10", like, but you're not moving him.
You know what I'm
if
saying?
You're a normal person.
But he's not like you don't look at him and be like, dang, like he's not intimidating. But it's like just watching him work out. It's just like the level at which he does everything is just like.
I was gonna say, is he super intense? Like when he's working out,
and you can see it in the video. It's just like like it's just everything is just like a sense of urgency, and I love filming stuff like that because it's like this is like. The top of the top. Like you don't get higher than this. Like he's a pro, so everything that he does it has to be perfect. Like it has to be perfect. Like there was reps that he was doing that to me and you would have been amazing. To him, it was like, nah, I can't. Like I need this. Like, you know, like he always pushes himself, so it was cool to capture that. And he's cool. Like he was just chopping it up.
I was gonna say he's cool because I mean, Corey, if you're hearing this, he just got promoted, but my boy Brian, I don't know if he wants his last name out there. I work with him, and I brought up Corey Clement before, and I think I told you this. He was like, "Oh yeah, they went to the same high school together." He was a couple of years older than him, and Brian, the guy that I work with, he was just like, he's like super nice, always been down to earth. Like,
he's cool.
Clearly he's still homegrown. Like, he's still just out here in Jersey doing his thing. I was like, oh, that's really cool. Yeah. Do you know how Ed connected with him?
Well, Ed used to, remember he was telling us he used to do one of his things in Glassboro as like the athletic trainer.
Yes.
And I think that was around the time where Corey was still at Glassboro. And I don't think him and Ed ran into each other, but somebody who was really cool with Corey still to this day, like, would get wrapped up by Ed and stuff like that. So Corey, I guess, I don't know how it happened, but like that guy recommended Ed to Corey, and then Corey came and he saw the lab, and you know, Ed's
That's
like
awesome.
One of the best. So it's like, once you do one session with Ed, it's like, I got to keep going.
That's,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was cool, man. Like, it's cool to do stuff like that because it kind of puts, like, Ed's the big homie, so it puts him in like a different bracket. Like, you know, I'm training like legit NFL athletes, and they're getting work put in. Like, it's not just like cookie cutters, like,
right. Yeah,
because
he's like always with like really, really, really tremendous like high school and college talent. But we can't sit here and lie. Like, there is a difference between going from that to someone with a legitimate, like, a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah, literally a Super Bowl ring. I think real. Ed was telling me Corey had the most all-purpose yards in that Super Bowl for both teams. Like,
I remember that. He did have a tremendous game.
Yeah, so it's just like cool. But he didn't even mention it though. It was just like, I'm on to the next thing. Especially with him being a free agent now. It's like he's just trying to, he's getting calls and stuff, but he's just trying to be ready. So it's dope to watch him.
That's so awesome, bro. When I saw you post that, I was like, yo, that's just random, so
right?
Cool.
Like,
I was like, what? Is he also not on Instagram?
He is, but you can't tag him or something. I don't know.
Private stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, his comments are limited, like that whole thing.
That's when you get to that level, bro.
But yeah, bro, it's cool, man.
Stop snitching. All right, so you were saying a little bit earlier that you've been getting a little nostalgic. You've been looking back on our great success.
Yeah, man.
Thus far, which is, this will be like, whatever. We're getting closer to 20 episodes.
Yeah, I think it's like 18 or something.
I looked at a statistic, which is very interesting. Most podcasts never make it past, it's like 8 episodes. So once you break that and you keep going and your consistency, it's like your level of like participation with an audience as well as your longevity is like multiplied like tenfold if you can just get past it.
Right? There's like, just the first tier is just like consistency, like just wanting to do it and continue to do it. Then there's, all right, now we're starting to make some money. So, like, naturally money is like a divider in a lot of ways. Like, you see, like, what the Joe Budden podcast is going through now, where it's just like,
what's going on with that?
Oh, so
you got to keep me up. I don't listen to the podcast.
Oh, yeah. So basically, obviously Joe's still there, but like his co-hosts, Rory and Maul, they've left the show for a little. Like, people don't know if they've left for good or if it's just a little, just because, like, I mean, they're like the biggest hip-hop podcast in the world, and they were the #1 podcast on Spotify for a really, really long time. And obviously they've gotten millions of dollars in deals, and you know what I'm saying. So
they left because they weren't getting paid.
They left Spotify because Maul and Rory left because, like, if you know Joe Budden, it's like Joe Budden is a polarizing figure. Like, he's a great guy, but like
he's gonna say the things to hit you.
But he's also a little like self-absorbed too. So it's like he understands that he's like, it's his podcast, right? Like,
it is literally the Joe Budden podcast.
Rory and Maul have added like a certain depth to the show that makes them really, really valuable as well. You know what I'm saying? So, and then when you get money involved in that, now ego comes aboard, and you're like, well, why are you getting this and we're getting this? Like, you know what I'm saying? So it became that. And then, on the show, they would like throw like little jabs at each other because they're all friends, so it's just like friendly banter. Damn. But it got a little sensitive. So Rory and Maul took off on the show. And now the thing is, like, are they going to come back? Because Joe brought some of his other friends, and the podcast is really just as good, if not better. And it really goes to show, like, Joe is the thing. Like, as long as Joe is on the podcast, like, it's gonna go. You know what I'm saying?
So that, but that's like confirmed. Like they talk about
like
that on the podcast.
Like you like look at the obviously like you look at comments.
Issues.
Yeah, you look at the comments and people like the two new guys just as much as they did Rory and Mal. But the common denominator is it's because of Joe. Like Joe is just really good at this podcast thing. So, you know, so now like that's the thing. Like, are Rory and Mal gonna come back? Like,
but also because like Joe's in the game though. Like that's the thing. Like. They talk from what I've not watched as much as you, but I know from watching what I've watched is that like Joe really is speaking on what would be considered like the facts of the situation. Like he can tell you who these people really are, who these celebrities, these rappers really are.
Yeah, he's known for his rants. It's not just
speculation.
Yeah, he's known for his rants. The podcast became popular because Drake dropped views and Joe like just completely like,
he just demolished it.
That's how I got introduced because it was just going viral and I was like, wait, what? And then I listened to it, I was like, yo, this is amazing. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like Joe is a rapper, like he's a really, really good rapper. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like he understands how to make music, so he understands when somebody's not motivated. Like he knows all of these things. So the way he broke it down, plus I think he's on Adderall too, so he's just hype. It was like an amazing, legendary episode, and that's what really kicked it all off for him. Because even he said at first, he was like, you know, we didn't really know what a podcast was. We were just doing it. We didn't know it would last. But then you hit a moment like that, and it's like, oh, like we got something here. And then you go through the year of just like building. You don't make money, and now money's on the table. So like now it changes things. Like. Now you have to split the money. Who gets this? You know what I'm saying? And then you get to the level that they're at where you're getting offered tens of millions of dollars by these, you know, platforms and apps and to do this. And now it's like a job. You know? So now it just creates like all this extra stuff. So I think that's
still crazy though to me. I just think that like, I don't know. I guess if that's the worst problem you have, then it's still a real problem. Yeah. But yeah, I think you're right. It definitely comes down to like, if Joe Budden's the leader of the ship. Yeah. I don't know what that conversation is.
As long as Joe wants to do the podcast, it's going to happen.
Yeah. And he may just be like, all right, well, F these friends. Like, I'll make other friends if we can't make this work together. Yeah.
I mean, but all that to say, you know, we've made it past the first hurdle of podcasting. You know, we stayed consistent.
Man. You know, we, Pop-Up called Adrianna a couple nights ago. Yeah. Talking to her about the podcast. He didn't want to talk to me about it. Nah, he was like, nah, I'm not trying to talk to you about it.
Oh, dang. What did he say?
What did he say, babe? He was just like, what is this? Like, what's going on with this? He's like, my generation. What?
I mean, you've seen interviews before. You've seen talk shows. It's crazy how, like, people don't get podcasting, but all it is like a...
Imagine a radio show and
it's a visual radio show. Yeah, like literally, that's all it is.
Like, you know, I've told people this, like, to, I don't know, family members or like older people who try to ask me what it is. I'm like, remember when Sirius XM became a thing and Howard Stern was on there, and then they recorded it so you can watch it too on YouTube.
That
like you would watch it.
Podcast.
That's a podcast. Yeah, the Howard Stern Show is a podcast.
Yeah, literally.
It's always been a podcast. Yeah. There's radio shows that are more traditional in the sense of like 97.5 The Fanatic or things that you're taking callers and it's, you know, analysts and people calling into the show or whatever. But if you're literally sitting in a studio for at least an hour, if not longer, and doing everything like that, you're doing a podcast. There it is. Boom. He finished it.
Boom. She's like, you better have.
She's like, that's right. That's the expectation. But no, man, I think like looking back on some of the stuff that we've done, like first of all, the Tahir episode's almost 250 views.
Yo, that was really dope, man. Like I didn't know how vast his following was. Like they really supported him. But it's like it's cool to see people in that light though. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why production is so important, because it's like you see something like that and you're like, oh, like this is legit. Like you know what I'm saying? Like it just adds something to it. And people watch it on their TVs, which is really cool. Yes. Like, you know, so like that was cool. But then like content wise, Tahir's was cool because one, he has a job that I'm sure 99% of people didn't know existed or didn't need to exist, but it does need to exist.
It is an important job, yeah.
And you know, I liked how he broke down why he, you know, puts his fits on. Like, what is the, you know, because it's like not everybody has the energy to want to dress up all the time. Like, why do you
do what you do?
Yeah.
But I think that I still think that, the Tyler episode was great. Like,
yeah.
I still want that to get more love as it goes. I think the Ed Deuces one will, and it's not out yet in real time right now, but I'm sure that'll also get a lot of love. Like the
RJM.
The RJM episode was great.
That one was the one that just like, I don't know what
popped
he did.
Off. Absolutely.
He worked some voodoo magic. It's like, nah. But nah, that was cool.
I think the biggest thing is for me to see now is like the crossover of like the Instagram page was definitely a game changer. Like even having 85 followers on there, like those are people who are really engaging with it and love it and follow it. Like there's new followers every day on that. So like between that, both of our personal pages, YouTube, if you really look at everything that we post is getting at least probably thousands of looks. Yeah. Like that's really cool, bro. Yeah, every single week.
Yeah. I mean, it's good stuff. Like we have good guests, bro. Like we have different people, you know, like you have the, you know, Tyler and Ed who are like just making a difference in communities, but then you have Ryan who's, you know, but a rapper who's aspiring to
grow his platform, more followers, more looks. Yeah,
he's white. You know, so it's just different. Then you have people like Tahir, who's just an eclectic guy. You know, you're not going to meet many people
interesting
like
jobs
him.
Like that.
And then we even have people that are coming up that are like just, they're all in different fields and they're all very unique in their own ways. They're not just like
the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it'd be one thing. I don't know. I was listening to, it was probably like Gary Vee or something like that. And he was talking about that, like, you know, starting something. Like, is it important to, like, know if you know you're really only interested in good in a certain type of thing, then sure, like, just, you know, body that, go for that. But if you're unsure, the best thing that you can do is just make it as wide of an audience as humanly possible. Yeah. And then you don't, because it's also a fair thing to say, it's like, we don't know yet why people watch us truly. Like it could be the guest, it could be us, it's whatever. But if you keep throwing things at the wall, then you're going to start touching all these different things. And then I look at that as like, sure, there's the Joe Budden podcast that is super reliant on, you know, this type of genre and fans of that genre. But then the biggest podcasts in the world, like the Joe Rogan Experience, is because it's it doesn't,
you don't know
it's
who you're gonna
always going to be different. And one is 100% guest oriented. And does Joe Budden ever have a guest? Not really.
Yeah, rarely. It's just him chopping it up with his homies. But I mean, that brings me back to like our two past the present ones. You know, like those
I want to keep doing that. My biggest thing is, which we still haven't been able to lock down, like I want to get a female like on.
It's gonna happen. I mean, we had a female.
It will be, Adrianna.
Like
like someone who will allow us a guest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like we'll get into that lane eventually. But yeah, I think it's dope that, like when we get, what we call them, our big fish. On like it's dope. It's dope that he
Mike
wants to come.
Elusive one.
Yes, Mike Dunn. He will be on the podcast eventually. It's going to happen.
Mike has the.
We were this close. Schedule. We were this close.
Yeah, now let's definitely get him.
But it's dope that like when we were communicating about that, and you know, I was like, hey man, like we can go to a gym, we can come to your house, like whatever. I understand that if time is of the essence, like we can make this go anywhere. And it's awesome. He's like, no, I want to come to the studio. Like I want to be on it.
People want to pull up for whatever reason. I don't know.
And it's just funny. We'd be at like group chats with people. He's like, hey man, I mean like this is all good, but like it is Nate's apartment. So like he's got to be there. So, like, whenever we go from there, I'm like, oh yeah, but, forget that sometimes.
Intimate vibes are always the best though. Like
I definitely think the setting of like being in the apartment is nice because it's just very like chill. It's just there's no like businessy sense to it. It's just like, hey, I got drinks and like you want some leftover food. Like what do you want? Like you hungry? Whatever.
That reminds me of the episode you did with your homies, man.
Yo, with Jim and Matt, yes.
Yeah, that was good.
That also got like, that's pulling up on 200 views.
Yeah, bro.
And that shows you.
I mean, it's just a bunch of different kinds of conversations happening every single week, you know? Like, that's what makes it cool. Yeah. It's like one day we can, you know, be serious and talk about, you know, the things that Tyler talked about. And then the next week we're chopping up with Tahir and, you know, we have our little inside things that happened while you were away. That was really cool. You know, and then you have the one where Jim and Matt on it, where y'all are just like busting it up the whole time. Yep. And then there's going to be others that are more serious. Like, it just depends, man. You know, but I think it's like, you know, just like taking the Joe Rogan model, like, let's just interview everybody. Just chop it up with everybody. We know a bunch of different people who do different things in different ways. So it's like, why not just...
But like we were saying before, too, I like that so far it seems like it's a very, like, balanced proportion back and forth of, like, having interesting people on. But just because we don't have a guest doesn't mean that we're not linking up and doing it together. Because at the end of the day, I always want that. Like, that will be the stronghold for the long term.
Yeah.
To keep
and a lot of times we don't even know what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, we don't really discuss a lot.
You know,
we just pull up. Well, I feel like that's so important to, like, the organicness of the conversation is, like, if I know what we're going to talk about and then it's all segmented and broken down, that's when I feel like it's a radio show. Like, you know, if you know you have 7 minutes to talk about this, then we got to go to this, then we got to go to this. Like, if it's not free flowing, then it doesn't feel like a podcast.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. But, like, the good thing about it is that something is always happening, too. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, well, yeah, for like, both of us.
Yeah, like, something's always going on. Whether it's in our personal lives or in the world, like, something is always going down. And it's just cool. Like, sometimes we can be serious and sometimes we can,
keep it chopping
chill,
up.
Yeah. But, we got to talk. Like, I'm sorry, this is serious, but we got to talk about it. The whole Derek Chauvin thing.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think? Obviously, like, you know,
what do I think?
Yeah, like,
good. That's what's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that it was the only part of that was, I mean, I'm a white man, but was scary for, like, what I would think is scary for the world is if that did not go that way.
Man.
Oh, man. It was more of like a relief of that, where it's just like, okay, all right, okay, like, cool. Like, we got our heads on straight, like, here. Like,
there's like a sliver of hope in the world, like, in our justice system. Like, they can do something right. Because it's been so, like, some of it's been so outlandish how these people kill. Like, they kill these people and they get away with it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it happens so much. So, like, the fact that, like, something actually went the way it was supposed to go, which is, like, most people were, like, relieved, but then they're like, well, it was supposed to happen. Like, why are we celebrating this?
Right. Why are we celebrating the right thing that happened?
But we lived in a world that's so messed up that it's like, you just got to take the wins when they come. Like, I was on social and I saw a lot of those comments, like, you know, we can't celebrate this, and it's like, we have to, because we can't just be miserable all the time. Like, when something good happens, whether it's supposed to or not, like, it's a good feeling to know, like, yo, he's guilty on all the charges, he's gonna be locked up as he should. Like, we celebrate it, you know. We're coming off years of, you know,
the wrong fucking decision.
Like minorities getting taken advantage of, and, you know, these cops and these officials getting protected because they're white and they're male. Like,
it's their job. Yeah, you're like, no, this isn't your job,
you know?
bro.
So you just gotta learn. People just gotta learn how to just, like, enjoy the moment. Like, not everything's gonna get solved right away. It can take years, but it's like the fact that we were able to see it, and the fact that, you know, the government was feeling that pressure because of social media. Like, you can't, like, it really shows the power of, like, when you stand up together and everybody has a common thing. Like, because in this, white people, black, like, everybody was like, yo, like, he should go to jail. Like, there's no reason why.
I thought the Derek Chauvin thing, well, that whole situation in general is that social media always has played a role in all of these things, but the clear video evidence of that being shown to the entire world is undeniable. Like, everyone has a right to a trial.
Yeah.
Do it. Absolutely. 100%. I don't care who you are. You have a right to that trial. Yeah. But everybody saw that footage, and from start to finish in there's very little room to say that there's some other situation. I don't care what else was happening, and that it doesn't matter. So
that was like the first time.
It was really powerful to see that undeniably.
Because it was on video, that was the first time where everybody was like, yo, that's messed up. Like, before, it's like the Trayvon Martin thing, we didn't see it, so
there's no video.
But this was like, yo, like, we saw the whole thing. Like, there's no way that should have went down. Like, anybody who has a piece of a heart, like, there's no way that was acceptable.
Or understands that, like, if anyone is even laying on their stomach, hands behind their back, with a knee on their neck, like, you won, bro. You're done. This person is done. Like, you got him. Stop. Just stop. But you didn't stop.
And that's why, like, when we asked Ed, I asked Ed about what goes into these tests, because it's like, clearly there's something off. Like, clearly, like, there's no way that a cop should ever lead with a gun when he's talking about a civilian, unless that civilian, you see that they're armed. Like, that's the only way. But, like, these cops are just killing people just because
it's easier than diffusing the situation. Which
is what they're trained to do, apparently.
Apparently.
You're trained to, even if somebody has a gun, you have a bulletproof vest, you have protection, and you should be taught how to get the gun off the person, like, exactly, diffuse the situation. But nobody does it. It's like everybody's just going to try to shoot somebody, and then they're going to claim self-defense, and it's not. Like, you're a trained professional. You're more equipped than anybody else in that situation to disarm that. It's literally your job. You get paid, you get all these benefits to do that, and then you fail to do it. And then you hide behind the law because you're a cop, and we're supposed to give you the benefit of the doubt, and you don't give these excuses.
You don't give minorities the benefit of the doubt. No, it is true. It's funny. Like, I don't know. We were saying, I was like in the car with Adrianna or something, and she was like joking about like, oh, I'll go through this red light. Like, I'm like, and to me, I was like, I mean, all right. I mean, it was like 2 a.m. We had to go somewhere in a rush, and I was like, okay. But then in the back of my mind, like, thinking about it, and then we talked about it later. It's like, if you're the wrong person though, like, you don't want to do that. And
because you're looking for anything.
But to get back to your point of like, thank God that's the way that happened, because now I think you're right. Like, that does set the precedent going forward. Like, and I think it is good that police wear body cams and people are recording them. Like, not everybody's job should be like that. I get why that's ridiculous. If you work at a fucking KFC, you shouldn't be getting videoed by people because you took too long with their order. But like, if you're in this job, like, you should be held accountable because you are making decisions about people's lives that will affect them forever.
And I think that's the word, accountable. Like, it just holds everybody accountable, even
and other police know, don't overdo it, because if you overdo it and someone has you on camera, it's not going to go the way that you think it's always historically gone. It's going to change.
Exactly. That's it. Like, you hit it on the head. Like, the fact that he was convicted on everything, like, now it's like, oh, like, we can actually, like, get punished. Because before, it's like, even if we shoot, like, we're pretty protected. But now it's like, nah, like, not only body cam, everything's on film regardless. Like, somebody's going to have a camera around. It's going to be on camera. Like, so you better think hard about what you're about to do. Or you should rely on your training. You know what I'm saying? Like, not gun training, like training to be an actual cop who can defuse a situation without having to shoot somebody. Like, you know, like that's my whole thing.
I think that's it. And I really, really, really try to consider, like, there are obviously really good police officers out there who are doing good work, but it really is super and I would love to have a police officer who would want to come on here and talk about this, like the training that they really go through, because that's the only thing that I consider is, like, I've watched a lot of stuff, and it's, are the local policemen on the regular level of a township police officer, do they really have that training where they're in that situation, or do they not? So they are scared and they have a gun and, like, this is what they need to do, or is it only reserved for NYPD, LAP, these really big, highly funded operations where I mean, I'm sure those people mess up as much as everyone else, but what is your do these police officers feel like they actually are trained, or are they just bullies like Chauvin, who's just going to take every opportunity to get one up on someone else because he's a little man?
Yeah, I think that was important to say too. Like, it's not, you know, when people talk about this, they're not saying all police are bad. They're saying the police that are bad, that's what we're talking about. The police who do these terrible things. Like in 91 when the LAPD did that to Rodney King, like,
right,
they're bad
that
people.
That was wrong. Yeah.
Like, you don't do that just because somebody's, I don't even know what he was doing. Like, he wasn't doing
whatever he was
crazy.
doing. It
like,
doesn't matter. It didn't need that result.
Near death for nothing.
Yeah.
Because they, like, I think those highly funded, you know, operations, they do that because they have the power. Like, oh, we're NYPD, we're LAPD. Like, even if something happens, we're not going to get caught. Like, we're protected. But now that's slowly going away because of social media and because of how quickly these things can spread. And, you know, people can just find out your whole life story, like, in a second. So it's like now that police officer's family is in danger because now they have to be subject to what their family member did. And people are going to come at you. And, you know, it's just a whole thing. And any normal human being wouldn't want to put anybody through that. You know, like you would think, like, if I'm an officer, like, I'm not gonna want my family to not get involved because I wanted to be a bully today, you know, or I didn't want to, you know, think with my senses. Like, just gonna just hold everybody accountable. Hopefully, obviously, there's gonna be more shootings just because there's guns in the world, and that's what's gonna happen. But hopefully, either the number of shootings, police shootings, go down, and or if they do happen, that the right decisions are made and they're not fully protected, like, you know,
and it should also translate to any of these people who are doing mass shootings, these kids and shit like that.
Yeah.
I mean, any situation like that where there's any sort of clemency, leniency, mercy is like, you know, like we say, I mean, I would say we're both pretty good people. Like, I don't wish any of that on anybody ever, but my threshold is like, if you knowingly and purposefully take someone's life, I go back and forth with like the death penalty and something like that to inflict that. I don't know if we have rights as human beings to put that on someone else to a certain extent, but I definitely agree with you get to lose everything though. Like, that's it. I don't care what it was, what the situation was. If you have any sort of consciousness as a person, whatever fucked upness happened, like, and you're a grown adult and you're making these decisions, like,
well, that's what voting is for.
That's it.
You know, you vote things like that into existence. You can vote laws into existence. So, yeah, that really depends on the person. I don't know how I personally feel about the death penalty, but it's like, you know, you should, at the very least, everything should be taken. Like, if you take somebody's life, then you should go to jail for a really long time. Yeah, like,
you know, not to harp on this too much.
Yeah,
I know we're gonna run out of time, but when I was talking to my mom and my parents about this when I was younger, like we're in high school or something, that like type of debate comes up about the death penalty. It was the only real question that was asked was like, could you vote for it though?
Like me personally,
could you
somebody
do it?
Like me?
Well, that's just how that's how it was presented to me. Like, even if you had all the evidence in the world and it was all up to you, and you had to undeniably, unanimously vote yes.
That's a tough one.
Could you live with that on your conscience? And I was just like, I don't think I could. Yeah. Even if I knew that this person deserved it, I couldn't sleep at night knowing that I was a piece of that decision. Like, it would make me feel guilty.
Yeah, I don't know if I could either. It's tough though, man.
Hard questions on the Stop Snitching podcast, man.
Well, I mean, it started off very lighthearted, but it ended serious. But that's the wide range we're talking about, you know.
No, I like those types of questions. I think that's what makes us all human beings.
Yeah.
The really hard pieces, but like you said, hey, see you later to Derek Chauvin. Bye bye.
Yeah, bro. Had to happen,
and man, rest in peace to anybody who's been inflicted with any sort of pain like that.
Yeah.
But overall, look, on a lighter note, Brandon's got plans. We're not going to say where he's going. I don't want the paparazzi on him, but just know it's probably going to be a week off.
Yeah, just know I got blessed,
he had to hit me with it, and it just is what it is.
Amen.
Look, all I'll say is there will be oceans, there will be sand.
Amen.
And it is what it is, man.
Amen.
All inclusive. You see him with a Mai Tai in his hand. Just know. Come up and say hi.
Blessings keep pouring in. What can I say?
Any last words?
Nah, man.
Parting thoughts? We'll probably be back. There may not be any difference, but
yeah, I don't know, man. Just like treat people with respect. That's all I would say. Like at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. Like if you treat the next person with respect, then a lot of these issues are resolved. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm talking about normal people here. Obviously, some people just can't seem to do that. But like, just love people, treat them with respect. If you have like any kind of grudges with anybody, just like talk to the person. Like life's too short. There's so many people dying out here. Like,
yep.
Just try to resolve these issues, man. Like
Elsa said, let it go.
Yo, this book. On that note.
Until next time, stop snitching.